I'm bobagain reporting on a fundamental factual error in the mainstream media's conventional wisdom account of the confirmation hearing for Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Here's a March 2nd transcript from factcheck.org titled "Did Sessions Lie?" The politifact.org transcript has the exact same words. The Washington Post broke the story nationally on March 1st, reporting that Sessions met with the Russian ambassador during the campaign and testified falsely when he answered Senator Al Franken's question. Here's the key part of the fact-check PolitiFact transcript, and I did not have communications with the Russians. But did Sessions say that? We've got the video, so this should be easy to determine, right? Well, we'll see. We'll try anyway. I'm only challenging 2 words, but before painstakingly investigating them, we need to consider major differences between written and spoken language. 2 examples are important here. First, we all know that when people talk with no script, sometimes we start to say one thing, then we start over and say something else. Second, when we misstate something, a slip of the tongue, we also start over. The second do-over phrase is often the opposite of the misspoken phrase. What might Sessions have said if he was starting over either to correct a misstatement or for some other reason? Since the first phrase was, "and I didn't have," one obvious possibility is, "and I have." That would correct a misstatement because the do-over phrase has an opposite meaning. But the critical issue is what those words sound like to us. We'll hear this twice.
Not have communications with the Russians. Not have communications with the Russians.
On now to our first enhancement. We'll play the same brief clip at half speed, but inside video editing software. There's a pitch adjustment to keep the pitch the same, so it doesn't sound like Here we go. We'll play this twice.
Not have communications with the Russians. Not have communications with the Russians.
Next, we'll play the 3 words of the challenged phrase twice, pausing briefly.
Not have. Not have.
Let's try to identify the challenged words. We'll start with the second one, the easiest to identify. We'll play this twice. Was that the word not, or was it some other word? I think we can agree the word can't possibly be not, so the fact-check PolitiFact transcript is wrong. It sounds like the word I. But just to be sure, we're going to add one step here. We'll listen to the 2 words I have together. We'll also do this twice.
I have.
I submit that this is clearly the word I, so we have another piece to our puzzle. On to the final challenged word, and we'll play it twice. This word is harder to identify. This highly stretched out graphic of the audio shows a slight rise toward the end. There could be some blending of the words and I. There also could be additional articulation since our tongues and mouths don't always form words perfectly. But fortunately, this is the last piece of our puzzle, and we know it has to be something. We're now going to do what we did before, only this time we're listening to all 3 words, again for context. We'll do this twice. Based on what we've heard, including all 3 words together, I think it's fair to say that this is the word and, based on a preponderance of evidence standard. We're headed for wrap-up now. We'll play at half speed, first the 3 challenged words, then the same, followed by communications with the Russians. We'll do this twice, followed by the same thing but at full speed.
Not have communications with the Russians. Not have communications with the Russians. Not have communications with the Russians. Not have communications with the Russians.
Let's be clear, and I have
Not have.
is the opposite of did not have. Sessions didn't lie. The media reports are wrong. We the people must demand that the mainstream media set the record straight. They must retract and correct their false reports of this major story. Fact Check has told me they stand behind their story. Many people have asked me, if the Fact Check and PolitiFact transcripts are wrong, why hasn't Sessions aggressively challenged it? That's a fair question. I've written Attorney General Sessions a letter asking him to address my concerns. Stay tuned.